There are few albums in music history as important as Please Please Me, the Beatles' very first studio album and the spark that ignited the greatest journey in rock and roll history. While it may not be their most polished or groundbreaking work, it's the raw, electrifying beginning of a band that would go on to change music forever. Recorded in just one incredible day at Abbey Road Studios, this album captures the youthful energy, charm, and sheer talent that made the Beatles a phenomenon. Even in its imperfections, Please Please Me stands as a testament to the Beatles' unmatched chemistry and songwriting brilliance. It's hard to imagine a world without them, and this is where it all truly began. Listening to this album now feels like stepping back in time, back to the very moment when four lads from Liverpool began their legendary ascent. This wasn't just another debut album, it was the first step towards a legacy that would define not just popular music, but music for generations to come. This essay will explore what makes each of these songs on the Please Please Me album timeless and unique, diving into how, even 60 years later, these tracks remain beloved by Beatles fans around the world. From the very first count-in, Paul's exuberant "1, 2, 3, 4" I Saw Her Standing There bursts to life with an energy that is absolutely infectious. It's impossible not to feel the sheer excitement and youthful enthusiasm radiating from every note, as if the Beatles themselves could hardly contain their joy at making their own studio album. Paul McCartney's driving bass line and John Lennon's gritty rhythm guitar create an electrifying foundation, while George Harrison's sharp, dynamic lead guitar adds an extra jolt of adrenaline. Ringo Starr's drumming is tight and punchy, keeping the song moving at a breakneck pace that makes you want to dance from the first beat to the very last. The way Paul delivers the lyrics, with that raw rock and roll swagger of the 60s, perfectly captures the thrill of young love and the unshakable confidence of a band that knew they were on to something special. Lyrically, it's a simple yet exhilarating tale of young love, capturing the rush of infatuation with lines that feel both timeless and exhilarating. Every "Oh, when I saw her standing there" feels like an explosion of joy, making it impossible not to sing along. It's a song that demands to be played loud, felt deeply, and enjoyed without restraint. A perfect introduction to the magic that the Beatles were about to unleash upon the world. Misery, a song that may not be an instantly recognizable hit as some of the others on this album, it has a unique charm that makes it an underrated gem. Written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, this song leans into a more melancholic tone, showcasing a side of the Beatles that would become more refined in later albums, like their famous White Album. There's something undeniably appealing about the contrast between the upbeat piano-driven melody and the lyrics of heartbreak and loneliness. John's lead vocals, tinged with just the right amount of sorrow, give this song an emotional weight that sets it apart from the album's more energetic tracks. Despite its title, Misery is far from miserable. It's catchy, memorable, and has a subtle wit to it that keeps it from feeling too downbeat. George Martin's addition of the bright, chiming piano adds an extra layer of charm, proving that even in their earliest days, the Beatles were masters of blending emotion with irresistible melodies and beats. It may not be the first song fans think of when discussing Please Please Me, but for those who give it a chance, Misery has its own special appeal that makes it just as worthy of appreciation. Anna, Go to Him is one of those songs that immediately transports you back to the heart of the early 1960s. Drenched in the dreamy, slow dance harmonies that defined so many love songs of this era, originally written and recorded by Arthur Alexander, the Beatles' version takes on a whole new life, largely thanks to John Lennon's aching, heartfelt vocal performance. His voice carries a rawness that makes the song feel deeply personal, as if he's living the heartbreak in real time. The steady, deliberate rhythm, paired with the soft yet somber backing harmonies from Paul and George, creates a haunting, beautiful contrast between longing and resignation. What really sets Anna, Go to Him is the signature Lennon edge. His vocal delivery isn't just sorrowful, it's almost desperate, adding a touch of grit to what could have been just another sentimental love song. The subtle guitar twangs and the steady beat from Ringo Starr makes it feel like a slow dance at a dimly lit 60s prom. It's a cover song, sure, but the Beatles managed to inject it with so much of their own style and personality that it feels like it was made by them. Chains is a standout track on Please Please Me, largely because of its infectious blend of harmonica and rich vocal harmonies. The Beatles took this Jerry Joffin and Carole King penned song and gave it a whole different kind of energy, with George Harrison taking the lead vocals while John and Paul provide smooth layered backing. This addition of John's harmonica gives this track a distinctive, almost bluesy feel, setting it apart from more straightforward rock and roll numbers on the album and of the time. There's an undeniable charm in the way the voices intertwine, creating a warm, almost playful atmosphere despite the song's lyrics about being trapped in love. What makes Chains even more memorable is how well the Beatles' vocal chemistry shines through, proving they were more than just a band with a great lead singer, they were a group built on dynamic harmony. George's slightly nasally yet endearing delivery, paired with the bright instrumentation, gives the track a unique character that makes it stick in the listener's mind, where it may not be the most famous song in the album, but its combination of harmonica, duet-style vocals, and effortless charm ensures its place as a hidden gem in the Beatles' early catalogue. Boys is easily the most surfer rock inspired song on Please Please Me, bursting with energy and a carefree, almost rebellious spirit. Originally recorded by the Shirelles, the Beatles transformed this song into a full throttle rock and roll track, with Ringo Starr taking on lead vocals in one of his most spirited performances. The song's upbeat rhythm, driving drum beat, and call and response backing vocals feel like they could have come straight from a California beach party in the early 60s. The janky guitar riff and steady bass line only add to the feeling of riding a wave of pure rock and roll fun. Halfway through, the song kicks it up a notch with a killer guitar solo that gives it even more of that classic surfer rock edge. Ringo's enthusiastic delivery, mixed with the band's tight harmonies, makes it impossible not to smile while listening to it. It's the kind of song that begs to be played loud, where over time, Boys has become not just an entertaining track, but one of the true highlights of the album, proving that even a cover song can feel uniquely Beatles-esque. It may not have been an original, but their sheer energy and charisma makes it feel like it was theirs all along. Ask Me Why is one of the more straightforward love songs on Please Please Me, following a classic early 60s pop formula with its gentle melody and heartfelt lyrics. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel, but that is part of its charm. There's a sweetness to it that feels warm and familiar. John Lennon's lead vocals bring just the right amount of sincerity, making the lyrics about devotion and happiness feel genuine rather than overtly polished. The light, bouncy rhythm, combined with the soft guitar strumming and subtle Latin-inspired beat, gives it a laid-back, easy listening quality. What truly elevates Ask Me Why, beyond being just another love song of the 60s, is the smooth vocal interplay between John, Paul and George. The duetting throughout the track, especially in the chorus, adds depth and emotion, making it feel richer than its simple structure suggests. Even though it may not be as energetic or groundbreaking as other songs on this album, its earnestness and melodic charm make it a pleasing, underrated gem. It's a song that, in my opinion, fits perfectly in the early Beatles era, sweet, sincere, and undeniably catchy. Please Please Me, the album's titular track, is a song that has truly stood the test of time, remaining one of the most electrifying and beloved Beatles songs in their early catalogue. From the moment the song kicks off with its driving rhythm and urgent melody, there's an undeniable energy that makes it impossible to ignore. John Lennon's impassioned lead vocals, mixed with Paul McCartney's seamless harmonies, create a dynamic push and pull that makes this song feel both exciting and emotionally charged. The rapid, almost breathless pacing of the verses gives way to a soaring, anthemic chorus, making it one of those songs that demands to be sung along to. Even 60 years later, this track has lost none of its infectious charm, capturing the youthful exuberance that made the Beatles so revolutionary. What makes Please Please Me even more timeless is how effortlessly it blends pop, rock, and rhythm and blues influences into something uniquely Beatles. The punchy guitar work, crisp drumming from Ringo Starr, and the call and response vocal structure gives it a vibrancy that feels as fresh today as it was when it was originally recorded. It's a song that perfectly encapsulates what made the Beatles so special. Catchy melodies, tight harmonies, and a boundless sense of enthusiasm. Whether you're hearing it for the first time or the 500th time, it still has the power to thrill, proving why it remains one of the best tracks on the album and one of the most beloved and timeless pieces in the entire discography of the Beatles. Even after 6 decades later, Please Please Me stands as a defining moment in rock history, marking the beginning of the Beatles' legendary journey. Love Me Do is one of the Beatles' most iconic early tracks, instantly recognizable from the very first notes of its signature harmonica intro. That harmonica, played by John Lennon, gives this song a bluesy, almost folk-like feel that sets it apart from the typical early 60s pop. The duet-style vocals between John and Paul create a warm, almost conversational tone, reinforcing the song's simple yet heartfelt lyrics. What makes it even more engaging is the well-placed instrumental breaks between the verses, where the harmonica and steady beat take center stage. These moments of musical breathing room add to the song's charm, allowing listeners to fully appreciate its laid-back yet infectious rhythm. Despite its simplicity, Love Me Do carries a timeless appeal, perfectly capturing the early 60s sound while also laying the groundwork for the Beatles' future greatness. The song's steady tempo, combined with its minimalistic yet effective instrumentation, makes it feel effortlessly cool. Those brief pauses between the vocal lines gives the track a perfect ebb and flow, making it easy to hum along to even after just one listen. It may not be the most complex song or the most experimental song in their catalogue, but its pure, stripped-down style is exactly what makes it so enduring. Even after 60 years, Love Me Do still holds a special place in music history as the song that introduced the Beatles to the world. P.S. I Love You is without a doubt my favourite love song on Please Please Me, capturing a heartfelt sincerity that makes it truly unforgettable. From the moment the song begins, the swaying rhythm creates a gentle, almost waltz-like motion that feels comforting and intimate. Paul McCartney's smooth, warm vocals bring a sense of genuine emotion to the lyrics, making it feel like a real love song set to music. A real love letter set to music. The repetition of you throughout the song adds a personal and almost pleading touch, as if Paul is speaking directly to the listener. There's something undeniably charming about how the song conveys longing and devotion in such a simple yet ever effective way. What makes P.S. I Love You so timeless is not just its melody, but the story it tells. A message of love sent from afar, a sentiment that resonates no matter the decade. The song's easygoing yet sentimental nature makes it stand out among the other love songs of the album, feeling both tender yet relatable. Even after 60 plus years, it holds up as one of the Beatles' most enduring early tracks, a song that can still make listeners smile and sway along. The smooth backing harmonies and light instrumental touches only adds to its dreamy, romantic feel. It may not be the biggest hit from Please Please Me, but its charm, storytelling, and sincerity make it one of the most special songs, and again one of my personal favorites of this album. Baby It's You may be yet another love song on this album, but it stands out in a way that makes it feel entirely unique. One of the biggest reasons for this is Ringo Starr's impressive drumming, which provides a steady yet dynamic backbone to the song's slow, almost hypnotic groove. The softness of John Lennon's vocals, mixed with the rich harmonies from Paul and George, creates an almost dreamy atmosphere, drawing the listener into the song's longing and heartbreak. Then there's the sha-la-la-la backing vocals, which adds an irresistible, almost doo-wop quality that makes the song feel smooth and effortlessly cool. The call and response structure between the lead and backing vocals gives this track an extra layer of depth, making it far more than just a simple love ballad. The instrumentation between the vocal lines is another reason why Baby It's You is so endlessly captivating. With these subtle guitar licks and gentle organ flourishes adding texture and emotion to the song, these moments of musical breathing room allow the melody to sink in, making the song feel both relaxed and emotionally charged at the same time. The combination of slow, sultry pacing and the passionate vocal delivery creates an almost atmospheric feel that feels intimate yet powerful. Even though it is a cover song, the Beatles make it their own with their signature harmonies and musical tightness. The result is a love song that not only fits perfectly onto the album, but also stands out as one of its most mesmerizing tracks. Do You Want to Know a Secret has probably become the most well-known track from Please Please Me in recent weeks of this recording, thanks to its resurgence in popularity on TikTok. It's fascinating to see how a song from over 60 years ago can still capture the hearts of new generations, proving just how timeless the Beatles' music truly is. One of the reasons for its lasting appeal is just how undeniably catchy it is, with its simple yet effective melody and memorable lyrics. George Harrison's soft, almost whispered vocals adds a sense of charm and intimacy, making it feel like a personal confession rather than just another love song. The song's gentle but upbeat tempo makes it an easy listen, something you can hum along to after just one listen. Another reason Do You Want to Know a Secret sticks in the mind so well is the iconic doo-da-doo backing vocals, which adds an extra layer of playfulness and catchiness to this song. This little vocal detail makes the song feel even more engaging, giving it a unique rhythm that separates it from other tracks on the album. The light instrumental arrangement allows the melody to shine, keeping the focus on the vocals and the storytelling where even after all these years, it is one of those songs that people instantly recognize, whether they're longtime Beatlemaniacs or just discovering it through social media. It is amazing how a song so simple can be so infectious, proving once again that the Beatles had a natural gift for creating music that will continue to stand the test of time. A Taste of Honey may not be one of the most talked about tracks on Please Please Me, but it is a song that deserves far more recognition. From the very first notes, there's a delicate beauty to it, with the gentle strumming of the guitars setting a soft, almost cinematic mood. The slower tempo gives the song a more reflective, almost melancholic feel, making it stand out from the more upbeat tracks on the album. Ringo's drumming is particularly impressive here, not overpowering, but subtle and steady enough, giving the song a graceful flow. Paul McCartney's vocals are smooth and heartfelt, carrying a sense of longing that perfectly captures and matches the song's tone. It's one of those tracks that, while not as instantly recognizable as Love Me Do or Please Please Me, has an elegance that makes it so special. The way A Taste of Honey moves between its verses and chorus feels effortless, with each section blending seamlessly into the next. The instrumental breaks, though simple, add to the song's charm, allowing the listener to fully appreciate the soft textures of this arrangement. There's a certain sophistication to this track, a feeling that makes it seem almost ahead of its time compared to some of the other early Beatles songs. It is easy to imagine this song being played in the background of a romantic film or a quiet cafe. Its dreamy quality make it feel timeless. While it may not be one of the first songs people think of when they discuss this album, it is one that deserves to be appreciated for its understated beauty. Even after all these years, A Taste of Honey remains a hidden gem on the album, a song that proves the Beatles could master any style, even in their earliest of days. There's a Place is probably my least favourite track on Please Please Me, but that doesn't mean I dislike it. Far from it, in fact. Even though it doesn't stand out as much of the other songs on this album, it still has plenty of charm and energy that makes it enjoyable. John's singing carries a rawness that gives the song a unique character, making it feel even more emotional and introspective compared to other tracks. The addition of the harmonica, which the Beatles had already used so effectively on other tracks, adds an extra layer of melody that keeps this song from feeling too plain. The fast-paced rhythm and bouncy beat gives this track a playful, almost jazzy feel, making it a fun listen to even if it is not a personal favourite. What makes There's a Place still worth appreciating, even for those who may not love it like myself, is how it fits into the overall energy of this album. It's upbeat, engaging, and undeniably catchy, even if it doesn't leave as strong an impression as some of the other bigger hits on the album. The way the melody moves between verses and harmonies gives it a lively, almost chaotic charm that keeps things interesting. Even though it is my least favourite song in this album, I never feel the need to skip it because it still captures that early Beatles magic. It may not be the most iconic track, or the most beloved, or the most popular, but it holds its own as a fun and well-crafted song. At the end of the day, even a weaker Beatles song is still a Beatles song, which means it's well worth listening to. Twist and Shout is the perfect way to end Please Please Me, closing the album with an absolute banger of a song. From the very first notes, there's an electric energy that makes it impossible to sit still. This is a song that demands movement. John Lennon's throaty, almost raspy vocals gives it a raw, powerful 60s rock edge, making it one of his most unforgettable performances in his career. The driving rhythm and upbeat tempo create an infectious groove that feels as fresh today as it did back in 1963. It is one of those songs that everyone, even non-Beatles fans, seem to know, thanks in part to the iconic scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The way the entire band comes together on this track, from Paul and George's harmonies to Ringo's relentless drumming, makes it an explosive and thrilling listen every single time. What makes Twist and Shout even more legendary is the sheer energy behind it. Considering it was recorded in just one take at the end of a grueling recording session, Lennon's voice was completely shot by the time they recorded this, but that only adds to the song's raw, almost unhinged rocker energy. The chorus is impossible not to sing along to, and the call and response sections gives it an exhilarating, party-like feel. Even 6 decades later, it remains one of the most danceable, high-energy songs in the Beatles' entire catalogue. Ending the album on such a high note leaves listeners with a rush of excitement, making it the kind of song you want to play on repeat. There's a reason why Twist and Shout has stood the test of time more so than other songs on this album. It is because it is a song that never gets old, no matter how many times you hear it or dance to it. With Please Please Me, the Beatles crafted an album filled with songs that are catchy, unique, and bursting with life. Even in their very first studio release, their raw talent and musical brilliance was undeniable. Each track, whether it was a love song, a danceable hit, or an emotional ballad, it had something special that set it apart. The Beatles had an incredible ability to create melodies that stick with you, harmonies that feel effortless, and rhythms that make you want to move. Even the lesser known songs on this album carry a charm that proves just how gifted they were as songwriters and performers. From start to finish, this album is a testament to their natural ability to make music that feels both fresh and ever timeless. What makes Please Please Me so remarkable is that even after all this time, it still sounds just as fun, exciting, and energetic as it did when it was released. It's the kind of album that new listeners can still fall in love with, proving the lasting power of the Beatles' magical music. While they would go on to evolve and create some of the greatest albums in music history, this debut showed that they were already on to something special. The youthful enthusiasm, harmonies, and unforgettable hooks set them apart from any other band at the time, where it's no wonder that these songs are still beloved by Beatles fans around the world. Even in their earliest days, the Beatles were making history, and Please Please Me is undeniable and objective proof of that. This album wasn't just the start of their journey, it was the foundation of a musical legacy that would not only change the world, but eventually change music forever. Every song here, whether a chart topper or a hidden gem, showcases the energy and creativity that made the Beatles a legendary musical band. It's impossible to listen to this album without appreciating the sheer passion and innovation behind every single track. While they would go on to create even more ambitious, artistic, and introspective albums, Please Please Me remains a defining moment in music history. The Beatles were brilliant then, and they are still brilliant now, with their music continuing and will continue to inspire generations of fans, musicians, and dreamers.
Oh, track of my love.